It's going good. Oh.
Are we
Oh,
live?
so cute.
There she is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. All right. We on? We live?
Yeah.
Okay, it is call to order. It is March the 12th, 2026. This is the meeting of the Bike Pedestrian Advisory Committee. Roll call, Dorothy Hill.
Neil Murray.
Kenny Burke.
And we have Luke Murray from the town here. I think we decided that we're gonna push the minutes from February to the next meeting for approval. Correspondence and public comment, number 4. Can everybody hear me, I hope?
Yes.
All right, we got a nice, I got an email from Council Vice President Marin, asking about the that intersection that so Council Member Wedgemont at the last or two council meetings ago had brought up from a constituent a stop sign, request for a stop sign at Railroad Street and Church Street at the bike path. And so that process was kind of going to work its way through the DPS and I think through the police chief. And then I wrote to Councilmember Wedgemont just to let him know that we had some background on that, and he was happy to hear that we had been working on it, and then we had gotten some traction with some signs that DPS put up probably now over a year ago. And then of course Councilmember Marin was copied on that, and he was asking if BPAC had police data from the police department on that. And of course in the past meetings we had, this is going back several years, where we had tried to get police data, and we, I guess maybe if we had specific things we were asking for, perhaps they would have provided that, but it's at some point when we had a liaison to the police department, we did not get information on any incidents regarding pedestrians or bicyclists on a monthly basis. So I just let him know that. I got a subsequent email from Councilmember Wedgemont asking about the escape plan. And I said that we would talk about it at today's meeting. We had, Lisbeth and I had gone to a long-range transportation plan meeting back in, I think, May of last year, and we have subsequently, as a committee, discussed and sent to Laura, what is her name? Liza Farr, and she's with the Department of Administration, and mentioning our desire for there to be some overpass, underpass, some kind of way off-road to get across Route 1 as part of their long-range plan, and I let Jay know about that. So, but I said that we would talk about it at our meeting today, and that's going to come later on in the agenda. But just receiving these requests from town council members, I think that is also added later on in the agenda. 7B under new business, I added process for town council and BPAC. When members of the community have complaints or suggestions regarding pedestrian bicyclist safety, so we can discuss that later on, but that's because of these communications. Did anybody else have any correspondence or public input?
None for me.
Okay. All righty. Staff report, Luke?
Let me see. Pedestrian related. I'm trying to, there's a few loose topics. One is, you may have seen at council, we went to the council this week for Curtis Corner Middle School, taking that down. So the structure's gonna get completely demoed. We had gone out to bid, got pricing. There was some issues. We got not contested, but there was some inklings we would get contested. In addition, we were originally going to try to save a portion of the building,
Right, yeah.
and it just wasn't worth it. The bottom
Yeah.
line, it just didn't pan out. We looked at it multiple ways. It just wasn't prudent. So actually, we got some very good pricing, which means that we might be able to do a little bit more with the facilities there. Our budget's $11 million. So just keep that on the radar. That's
Okay.
directly adjacent to the bike path. The stadium's going to get rebuilt. But we're also going to be doing, I'm really pushing on a new entranceway road that would take you through the center of the site, as opposed to Onion Road, which is like this little, when you come into CCMS, the park is kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
Focuses on the school, and then you
Right.
kind of go to the left and follow the bike path to go
Yeah.
down. So the idea is that that would become more recreation space on the side of the park, closer to the bike path. And that may even be an extension of the bike path that could go down, if we even save the road but make it pedestrian. But there would be a new center, like where the school is now, main center roadway that would take you to parking and allow
Yeah.
distribution of parking off of it. So when people dump out of events and whatnot, there would be one main center aisle. So we've looked at that earlier. We've already looked previously at that. So it's really it's going to be a money thing at some point. So we're looking at that. But that would be a major transportation shift in there, as far as bike ped and other. So there's that. Working on South Road and Wakefield Elementary contracts to get to market for the demo of those two facilities. I just got the hazardous building material assessment done for Wakefield. So the abatement plan's in process, and then we'll go out to bid. I have GZA working on that. So again, those touch the bike path and other parks, etc., including, we all know South Road is ripe for development and likely to be the priority over the next couple of years as far as affordable housing. We did get a $5 million grant from Senator Reed's office for infrastructure at South Road and other sites. It's basically affordable housing in general. So that was very positive. We also got $250,000 for the beach for resiliency and master planning. And I also put in another grant for master planning just this past week, Living Shorelines grant, which would provide technical assistance for master planning there. What else? Monday of this week, I put in 4 applications to community project funds to Seth Magaziner's office, and tomorrow I'm submitting the same ones to Senator Reed's office, 2 of which include Main Street. One is the Bell Block parking lot, because I already have money. I have $50,000 for design money that came through a Rhode Island infrastructure grant. So working on redesign of that, stormwater management, etc. In addition, I already submitted the entire Main Street project, the SS4A project that we applied for.
Okay. You
So
replied.
we applied for $5 million for that project to reconstruct Main Street. So that will go into Rep. Magaziner's office as well as Senator Reed's office. And so, which I'm getting letters of support from the Wakefield Village Association as well as the EDC. You're also welcome to provide a letter of support. I can give you a template on that.
Okay.
If you're in agreement tonight, then I'll give you a template of basically, and it would be helpful. Anybody I can get to, give us those letters. The other 2 grants one is for Marina Park, for the construction of new docks. The town is taking back a lease from Grove Point Partners for slips along Saugatucket River. So coming next year, the town's going to re-own that, and our intent is to run a small marina out of it. So we'll be running it.
Isn't that Ram Point?
Ram Point.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be right next to Grove Point. Grove Point Partners owns that facility. It's Ram Point.
Gotcha.
So there were 2 separate leases. One was for the main parcel where the big marina is, and then there's a separate lease on the appendage that comes over to Saugatucket River.
Way at the end of the road.
Right at the end of the
Oh,
road.
I didn't realize that's
Yeah.
where
Where the
Saugatucket.
little amphitheater is?
Yes.
Not
So right now you access those slips through the Ram Point Marina. We would have to build access down to them and build new docks. So that's on the capital plan right now, because we are taking it over. The council is very pro public access and trying to regain some of the waterfront that we had there.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. We didn't have money in place in the CIP. That's long-range CIP money, so we're trying to see if we can advance that through a grant. The final grant was non-related to you. It's for a piece of snow removal equipment in consideration of the massive storm
Oh my
we just
God.
had, and the fact that there was a lot of time and effort digging out of that, as you can imagine. We're evaluating our equipment, and we put in for a tractor with a snow blower attachment off the back of it that could be used similar to what we did on Warden's Pond. You may have seen on Facebook, the National Guard came in and helped us out. Similar type of piece of equipment.
Yeah.
So there's that. Are there any questions? There's so much going on
Yeah.
right now. We got the high school. We got, you guys know what's going on around town. Are there any specific questions I can answer?
Oh, go ahead.
For the Main Street grant, do you have a concept for that stretch of road, or is it just
We
to
don't.
start?
It is the idea when we put in the grant, kind of similar to SS4A, is we do the implementation of the whatever's recommended in the SS4A, right? As far as crosswalks, pedestrian, etc. Expansion of outdoor seating and pedestrian walkways, goosenecking down some of the parking and where the crosswalks are. It's more in concept, right? We would have to get engineering on board and walk through that process with DOT, because it's a DOT roadway. So, but no, we don't have a concept yet, because we haven't really had funding for a full design.
Two areas of question. One, you do have the Safe Streets for All report in general for the town. Is there going to be an additional submission for Safe Streets for All separate from Main Street?
Say that again?
There was a submission for the Safe Streets for All to get the grant
Yes,
through
that
that
was the Main
program.
Street grant.
Now in the Main Street one, is there any expectation to do a secondary one for another area in town?
Oh, I got it. No. As I said, I think I told you last month, I went through, didn't I go?
You said it went through, and they said it was well
It was
written,
well written
and a few
already.
points to
Yeah,
clarify.
and because it ranked so high, there was
Yeah.
every indication it should have qualified. I think it was just either who was in the hopper or it was politics, frankly. So it
Okay.
can't beat the politics of
Yeah.
the day. I think we're still competitive with that project, and being where it is, and that's where our core is of pedestrian movements and whatnot. I really feel it. We felt it should be there, because honestly, if you follow the data, as far as what a lot substantial of crashes happen, it's not really as much pedestrian related as it's vehicular, and it's Route 1. We know that.
Yeah.
Off the record, I would personally love to submit for like an overpass situation, but there's nothing that supports that, because we didn't have the data. If you remember, there's no one crossing Route 1 on foot, because no one's
Because
crazy
you
enough to
can't
do
do
that,
that,
right?
yes.
So I don't have the data to support that, and in addition, I would need design engineering studies to figure out we have a reasonable sense of where the estimate lands on Main Street. I have no idea what an overpass would cost on something like that. I'm sure we could get an engineer and figure it out, but I don't have the time.
Yeah, how do you do that? Because it's like you need to have the one before you can do the other. How do you get the money to do the study and locate where it should be before you ask for the money?
Well, the money could come through the town for design. It could come through DOT for design work. Typically, like grantors like to see more. If they're going to go for implementation, they want to see a little bit, especially on that type of project, because there's permitting and other things involved. They're going to want to see it a little bit more advanced. And so we're not there.
Yeah.
I think at some point, maybe at a town level, if we commit to doing design work or DOT supports some sort of effort like that, I don't know if they will. I
Yeah.
think it's going to have to be really driven by the
And
town.
would we not focus on more specifically on town roads impacted versus the Route 1?
Yes, but Route 1's still
It is
impacted.
the major
It's their road,
impact.
so,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a coordination of activities there. I did a concept design in-house for Town Farm that showed an overpass over to Marina Park. But, there's a big difference between drawing a line on a plan and engineering it out and going to DOT and running it through the mill with them.
Yeah.
So So the answer to your question is no, we're sticking with the Main Streets application. Probably gonna get Bowman back engaged to beef it up a bit. But yeah, that's our plan. But we're taking all avenues, right? Senator Reed's office comes through, if SS4A doesn't, maybe it also puts it on Senator Reed's radar as a high priority. So that maybe he's giving a little bit more push this time to the SS4A process.
Well, that's what I was looking at, and I'll bring it in, but not in too much depth at this meeting for another discussion. On the Safe Streets for All, we do have a ranking towards the back of areas that should be addressed based on all the multiple factors. If that could not drive the initiative to consider another area, if they're fortunate enough through Senator Reed's office to get the $5 million.
It could. The only difficulty is going to be, and this is just it's timing. So the SS4A is going to come early summer, likely. These congressional appropriations take forever. We literally just found out about the money from last year when I applied last year for these projects.
Right.
So it's usually a year to a year and a half from the time we apply to when we know. So I'm using this as a safeguard that if we don't get the SS4A, which we'll know probably about September, October, I think that's when I.
Oh, so you are resubmitting Main Street for Safe Streets for All?
Yes.
And then the Reed is hopefully a backup should that fail?
Correct.
Okay, that helps me
That's
understand.
sort of the thought process.
Okay, I wasn't sure about the priority of which versus the other. Okay.
Yeah.
And second item I had for you was, have you had any feedback yet from the various town departments regarding what was submitted in December about the inclusion of public on CIP?
No, I haven't even had a chance. I gotta be honest. I haven't had a chance between snowstorms and grants and everything else. I have not had a chance to follow up on that, and I'm on that one.
Yeah.
So I apologize, but the chief, and I'll tell you, the chief and Rich, you can imagine what that week was like.
Oh, sure.
They were up for 100 hours straight. It was not it hasn't been the month to talk to them about this again and regroup. So
Okay. I don't want to under the bus, submarine, or do anything to them, but I wanted to be able to give the town council some advisory of here's some of the things we've done, and one might be we've submitted this concept, because we're supposed to give to the town council in the reviewing what the activities are for this advisory committee is to give general information to them, not the specifics on address this street or such. But I wanted to try and give them some sort of a progress of what the group has been recommending. I'm not trying to harm the individuals in the positions in town hall, but just to let them know this is a direction we're going.
Yeah, I mean, my recommendation, you take it or not, your own
Okay.
board or whatever, is to, you can put out there that, we're working with the administration, and we've advised that we'd like to see some sort of better process
Okay.
to hear the public. We're working with them through that process. I mean,
Fine.
that would be my suggestion, because that's where we're at.
Okay.
I pledge we'll get it done. It's just unfortunately,
Other drama.
yeah, and it's also, I get into priorities, right? Their priorities are supreme. So if you have 15 of their priorities, yours falls to the bottom of the list. Now, if you can make that their priority, by all means.
I think by Councilman Wedgemont advocating for this and Mike Maron following up regarding it, I think it might not be their priority, but it's on their radar, so we
Yeah.
might just keep
Keep it on their
communication
radar.
flowing.
I mean, escape plan's the same way, to be honest with you. It's not that I don't want to work on it, but there's, if affordable housing and the high school and all these other things are priorities, then something's
Sure.
got to fall to the top and the bottom of the list. So, quite frankly, like the escape plan, it's kind of in our basket. We know it's there, but what does that constitute? Quite frankly, I think we're going to need some help on the escape plan, but we don't have money for that help
Right.
yet.
I think it'd be nice to have, be ready when there is potentially money.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yeah, and
But-
these grants are coming all the time,
Yeah.
different baskets. I mean, I try to keep my eyes out. Obviously, it's amazing like how much has just come in the past month. I've just had a hard time keeping up.
My goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot there, and,
You-
and that's
you
not
have
even
been-
all of them. So
Yeah.
they come in waves, right? You hear nothing,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, there's 15 on the market, and they want you to submit in two
In 2
full
weeks. It's
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
they give you no time.
Yeah, so it is what it is. We'll keep our eye on the
Yeah.
ball, but yeah, certainly whatever report back whatever you.
Okay, good.
Okay, great. I just wanted to, you were talking about Curtis Corner Middle School and the redesign and all of that. I wanted to kind of plug that maybe there's a way, and maybe BPAC can suggest this, to get to Route, to 108 from Curtis Corner. If you, I don't even know if you can bring it up, but if you go back behind
Mhm.
the field,
Antonio.
the big field,
Behind
Yeah,
Antonio's
yeah,
in?
yeah.
So there's the connector bridge.
there's a,
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't, yeah, the bridge, and then you go and you kind of come out where where the
Antonio's, yeah.
Antonio's
Yeah.
Pizza is. And I
pizza
kept thinking,
place.
well, that's the one place that, where if you were to build something at the South Road lot, that would be how people can get out to the public transportation,
So
cutting through there.
you're
In a
saying
safer manner.
construct something where?
Okay, just, maybe
Oh, I'm
build,
sorry, it's
have
not-
a
let
little
me share my
infrastructure signage or
Yeah.
something to
Right,
guide
you-
people.
The wayfinding?
That's
Yeah,
where it comes
okay,
out.
yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, and then Andre,
It comes out,
and then, yes,
Duncan,
yeah,
there's
right
Duncan.
there.
Yeah. So you're
So,
saying to bring it where?
no, I'm just saying some signage or something
Oh,
to,
yeah, we can
um,
definitely.
so that people
are aware of the access.
are aware that there's access, both ways.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair.
So,
I-
now if you go back, go up a little bit, so when you come through this, right here, I think it's right
Is
here,
that dirt?
it
It's,
doesn't look like it's
it's
anything, but it's.
pavers, that's got
Yeah,
grass.
it doesn't,
going
you
through.
can't get a car through there, I don't think,
Uh,
but it looks like
It's meant for emergency
it-
egress,
it is a town road, I mean, it's town owned,
right away, yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing, some of those
If you've been through it.
residents might
I haven't
not be
been through
happy
that
with
yet.
that.
Yeah, it's,
From Andre Avenue to Allison Avenue, a connector.
we've used
Well-
that for years. It's the kids used it in our neighborhood,
Yeah.
all the time. So it's underutilized. I think that was like an emergency
But,
egress if,
yeah,
if ever
I mean,
needed.
that would be
Yeah.
some signage there, I don't know how you do that, but,
Yeah, I mean, I something we can definitely look, like, not kind of two separate approaches. One is, there's obviously this going on, which I can look at
Right.
signage, like I talked about, like kind of a main boulevard. It would
Right.
Prospectively come through here and then reconnect down here. So this whole roadway would either be abandoned
Yeah.
or thought that might be just pedestrian, right, and link into the bike path. We could have signage along here and then, incorporate signage.
yeah,
And you're talking about a larger signage effort. If that's something you want to, if this group wants to take that up as a recommendation and things, like, that's something you guys should discuss. I'm not saying no, but
yeah,
it's like chasing squirrels. I don't want to just do it because it's being asked tonight. Like, if that's something you want to advocate for and work with us
So
on.
bike and pedestrian
it's a
method to get
connector.
through.
It's
Yeah, wayfinding.
this is part of our master plan and the BPIP. So there are multiple, like if you know, then you know type of shortcuts, cut throughs.
Yeah.
Some of them are more formal than others. There's many of them throughout town. And if you were to do this, my suggestion is that you aggregate the known areas where you can safely get through from one neighborhood to another. And these are like the folks that do a lot of regular riding or walking, they know these areas.
yeah, they know them.
Right? And if we were to go forward with this, I would absolutely talk to the folks in the neighborhood too to make sure we get their blessing.
I'd
Because
rather,
Well, so this is why going through a council process is
Yeah.
good. Like, if you want to recommend this as a group
yeah,
and come together, like, these are great little projects that you guys can
Yeah.
bite into and get done. Like, okay, we're going to make this hard recommendation to council and see if they'll pick up on it. Because then it's kind of through a public process. That way, if they instruct us to do it, it's already kind of gone through that. So if we get pelted with stones, it's not administration unilaterally did this. It was like, no, there was a community
Yeah.
request. It was supported by BPAC. It went
Yeah.
through a process and it got done. All right. So yeah, I would
I mean, I just.
What I can do is, as far as the school project and whatnot, we can definitely get some in-park signage done when we go to phase. I would particularly pay attention to phase 3. So first phase demo of the school. Second phase we're in right now is design of the athletic field and surrounding area, which is really contained to up until the bleachers. But phase 3 is everything else. So that's the roadway, any other recreation, parking, pedestrian, etc.
So we would
we're
make
gonna
a
be-
recommendation that, as part of phase 3.
Yeah, what you could do is say, we understand that the site's getting redeveloped. In
Yeah.
addition to that, we're recommending signage internal to the site and also along Andre and other areas to get people to Route 108. I'd encourage you to come up with a map, right? Show it,
Yeah,
what your thinking is, and then, you send that to council. We can get it to council just for consideration. They can take it up, not take it up, but
Yeah.
that's your role, right? You recommend things to council, they can take it up, not take it up.
okay.
Sorry, Ken, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Good, it's all good.
Okay, so,
All right, good.
so,
So that's all I have. If there's any other questions, glad to
so
discuss.
we're doing the rec on the Safe Streets for All implementation. Grant. To town council. Okay. Great. All right, I think we kind of went through, 6A, member discussion on policy process and implementation of bicycle and pedestrian safety initiatives per Safe Streets for All, and what is our role. So Neil and I looked at some of the Safe Streets for All action plan that the town adopted, and looking at what are the things that kind of align with what we had, what BPAC had already included as sort of action items in our master plan, and how those things aligned with the other things that we're working on. Our charges and our mission, and some of the things that were in the comprehensive plan. And so, it's nice that the town adopted that, because that kind of provides us with some opportunities. The plan has already been adopted to say, okay, well, how are we gonna get these next items done? How are we gonna, we can include these suggestions or recommendations, as per Safe Streets for All action plan, which was adopted. So did you wanna add to that, Neil?
Sure, it was just a case of, it was nice to revisit it and see the depth of it. And as I pulled out earlier too, it had the total scoring for the prioritization criteria. The town has done some of these items, or in one case, it dealt with the three-way stop sign that was installed as one of the recommendations. Like maybe the neighborhood had advised for that on Woodruff. That was one of the ones that was mentioned in there. And then, consistent with what we talk about as low-cost alternatives that can be done, I saw dollar rankings on this as well. They adopted, they gave targets. Do we have a follow-up procedure that the town follows for, okay, we're looking at these, here are estimated timeframes. I know CIP is out there as a limit. Is there a procedure, because with this adoption, is there a structure behind it to get back to the town council of, oh, here are the rank orders, and how are we moving those forward?
It's a good question, and honestly, no. We don't, the plan got dropped, right? And so I'd be lying if I said we had somebody sitting there with the plan. I'd love to.
Yeah.
And kind of giving the boot and saying, hey, we got to do this one, like a Safe Streets person, right? Because this
Yeah.
could literally be a position full-time. And just says, we need to do the next one, now the next one, right? And so I would say, you know, whether it's this committee and others, like, you know, just advocating for individual pieces of the plan at, like, in bits is helpful, because it puts focus on things one thing at a time, right? It eats that elephant one bite at a time.
That was the goal.
So, you know, but no, we don't have anybody, because in and amongst all the other things, you know, we're doing the day-to-day, we're not really focused on this. Typically, these things come off the shelf, or they come up as opportunities present. Like a roadway's getting redeveloped, let's say by DOT, and they come in and we go, oh, there's 4 things on this list that need to be addressed when you do that. Like 138's a perfect example, right? We know that's ongoing. We're gonna look at this and say, yep, what's along 138? What can we address? We want to make sure we don't bypass that.
And there are some things in this for 138. Has that information gone to?
Yeah, I shared this plan
Okay.
with DOT. Now,
You got to
it's
remind them
us
they
to
have it.
remind them, right?
Yeah.
Ken knows this. So, you know, but yes, and or if we have a town project that's pushing, or there's a grant that comes out that we like, hey, this project would be perfect for it. So that's more of what we typically do with it. I'd love to say that we're kind of using this plan daily. We're not. You know, that's the honest truth.
Yeah.
No, it said a periodic review of if it were on somebody's calendar, say, okay, it's been a year, what have we achieved off of this, rather than a daily. Because I looked at I actually highlighted the 4 that were specific to town. The rest were all state that were identified. And one of them, I think, is hitting a salt pond in Kenyon. That one, I think, was contingent upon South County Hospital putting a parking lot
And
on
they're
one of
working
those
on that.
corners. They're planning on it. Is the town waiting for them to do that before the town
I would have to
implements that? Or can the
Yeah.
town request the hospital contribute to some of these safety measures for its staff?
We can request it. Well, we can request it. We can't compel it.
It's a crosswalk for their employees to get across the street to
Yeah.
get to work.
They did make some adjustments internal to the site to force people down to the roadway. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But I know that was rung out through the planning process on the interior design and circulation of the parking area. As far as the intersection, I would have to check with Rich and see but that would be one that, you know, it's a fair point. Like, that project's going on, and I don't know where the end point is, because it seems to be kind of stuck right now. But I can bring it up and say, all right, South County Hospital is building a lot. Where do we stand with this intersection? Or do we have plans or money to be able to do it?
Right.
We can certainly ask the hospital. My guess is they're gonna say, well, that's kind of a town RIDOT issue, right? But that doesn't mean we don't do it, right? We do have some money in the budget now. We could tackle that as one of the projects, so that's fair.
And I'm just bringing them up because, again, we have something approved, and now the implementation of the approvals is where the focus would be. And I purposely looked at them to make it softer, which were the ones flagged as low cost
Is
through
that
the
something-
assessment. That was one, as well as the Matunic Beach Road and Cards Pond Road. Elimination of some parking spaces for safety purposes and such. That could be signage ones, but really trying to as a member of this advisory committee, see that the advice is there is a procedure to follow up and get it in front and revise and notify the town council. That's all.
I mean, some things we do as administration because it's low hanging fruit. We can just do it.
Sure.
Right? You know, we try to do what we can. If we notice something, we try to get it done. If we have money budgeted or whatnot. Other things, again, it has to be brought to our attention because it's just so much.
Oh, sure.
You can't get it all done feasibly, so it has to go through this type of process. Right? Somebody rings the bell. You know, I hate to bring up Kersey Road again, but that's one of the situations. Like we all kind of knew it was out there. It took a community member to ring the bell, and council listened, and that became a priority for them, and that's why it kind of got pushed. That said, it's kind of stuck for now because we don't have the funding to actually get it done. So, but at least it's in the queue, and so it gives it some sort of prioritization factor. So, Neil, you're right. You know, I think however you want to approach it as a group, you know, you're a bit more pedestrian related. Some of this is more vehicular related, right? That's not to say you can't weigh in on it. It's just that your role is more bike pedestrian oriented.
Well, those are, I mean, I think all of the things that we're suggesting are crosswalk,
Yeah, I think
issues.
a
Yeah.
lot of
Right.
what was suggested that
Yeah.
came out of this report was that. And I'm not telling you don't wait on it,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
These were vehicular hotspots, but they also did have the rating for pedestrian and cyclists, and and especially tying into the fact that we advocated for the share the road signs on Matunic Schoolhouse Road, and there's gonna be cycling loops there. A safer intersection benefits all parties. That's where we would go with it. So again, in the kinder manner to bring it before the town council, remind them saying, hey, we recommend the following revisiting of and advice to the council regarding the following projects would be probably the goal, I think, for this group is to be the backup in regards to keeping this on their radar.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, keeping it on their radar. I mean, we're back in the budget time now. It's operating now, not CIP. We typically,
Mhm.
we're going to incorporate that CIP that was already passed. But again, I think the only recommendation I can give you, and this is just council, right?
Mhm.
Be consistent.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you don't jump from one priority to another priority to another thing. Like whatever you do, and that's why I say even one of these projects, focus on it for a year and be like drive it home, right? But the key is repetition. Coming forward, hey, this should be a
Mhm.
priority. We really need this done. Really need that signage done, right? Constant reinforcing till it gets done,
Mhm.
and then you move on to the next project. Where I see a lot of the groups fail and a lot of the boards and commissions fail is that, there's a lot to be done, so they get so scattered they never get anything done because, quite frankly, they're overwhelmed with a million other things on top of that.
Right.
So, it's easier to take one bite-sized piece for them and say, all right, fine, you want this, we'll do that.
What is the advised communication method to them? Do we go through, rather than waiting for a town council meeting and hoping for 5 minutes in an overwhelming meeting that they had to do a lot of prep for, there is a communication channel to get them, we've been advising regarding the following. Is that
Just an email.
just an email to all council members
Right now,
from the
that-
committee?
That is the mechanism.
Okay.
I was working on a different mechanism. I would like to create a different mechanism for boards and commissions to be able to get a direct line, but the truth is it kind of ends up the same way.
Yeah.
We would be communicating through email, whatever, saying, we'd be batching up those communications and basically saying, here, read them or don't, right?
Mhm.
Because it's up to them whether they want to read them or don't. So I would say, yes, email's fine. If you want to do a formal letter from the BPAC, hey, we endorse this, or we would like to communicate this. And, it's
When you say
really
a
on them if they
formal
want to
letter,
take it up.
are you saying via an email?
Yeah,
the
I
letter
think
within the
email is
email
the
or
best for them.
printed? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if there's a time where you want to formally get on the agenda, you can always request some sort of action.
Yeah.
So if you request an action, our policy is you typically put on, I will warn
Oh,
you,
yeah.
this is at the end of the meeting.
I've been there.
But that is at least there is a process to ensure you'd get heard, or you can always go to any meeting as a member of the public
Well,
or a board member and say,
maybe-
hey, I'm on the BPAC, and by the way.
Yeah, maybe that's the strategy is to send the email letter, send the formal letter within an email, and then maybe at the next follow-up council meeting, somebody from the group can use that 5 minutes
Sure.
of public
To refresh.
comment to say, hey,
Okay.
you sent this, we
I
sent
told
this.
Wakefield Village Association, they're not even a town board of commission. I told them exactly the same
Yeah.
thing. Like, it's reinforcement. Show up. Those
Right.
who want stuff and get stuff show up and
Yeah.
they do it.
Yeah.
And you have 5 or hopefully more members.
Yeah.
It's easier because you just delegate a different member every month and you all take a share of the work.
Yeah, what I was coming back to is that there can be lots of policy proposal, but without process in place,
Fair.
things don't get achieved. So this is more about this group to establish the communication process and to provide the general recommendations as per the guidelines for the committee. Okay.
And I'm always all ears. I mean, I do sit in 2 capacities here. I'm also the deputy town manager. So, like, I'm all ears if you guys have recommendations, like, boy, it'd be nice if we could, get this way of communication. It's just, it's difficult. There's a large volume of
Yeah.
information, so making sure it gets in front of them in some
Yeah.
reasonable way and actually gets boiled down. Because that's my last piece of advice. Be concise.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you do, bottom line up front, have the executive summary, like, here's what we're looking for. What's the ask?
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. I'm keeping an eye on my watch
Yeah, I
for
was
you.
too,
You've got
and
2 more
it's-
minutes.
You got.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Is there
We're your
anything
ally.
you need, Luke?
So
Answer.
one thing is to set the date for inventory of bike path crossings and discuss how it's collected.
Yeah, it was-
I did send you an email regarding that.
Yeah, you did. and-
But it was school vacation week, then snowstorm, then snowstorm, then I was like, there's no way he's going to contact
Yeah.
me back.
Yeah,
So
well,
I
I
did
figured we'd talk.
We'd talk.
And,
We talk.
Let's follow up after this. We haven't seen the ground until the last couple of days.
Yeah.
So,
That was my
and I literally have so Jamie did a few of them, but I don't know, but he didn't take pictures and he didn't do what I really wanted. So I
I
think we'll
can go
probably.
through.
Does he have,
I can go through the
Well,
whole.
so
But the
I,
thing is
Not
if
right that
we
thing.
need to have the
Structure.
consistent
Yes.
structure?
pictures.
Mhm.
yeah, so
Set
what
up
I would
with
like
it.
to do is, if you're
He
okay with it,
wants.
why don't we set up a meeting at a different time?
Okay,
We can get together.
Yes.
We'll pull out the maps, we'll go through each one. And we'll kind of agree on, okay, here's what we need for this one, great. Here's what we need for this one, great. And then if you want to go out and do some pictures and some inventory and report back, we'll create a format together, then that's great. That's a force multiplier for me.
yeah.
That would be great.
and do you have criteria that they would use to assess it by, or just this is general criteria that the group would come up with? I mean, things like based on road speed,
Yeah.
posted
That's-
road speed,
That's
Talk
after,
about that during
visibility,
the-
and what
yeah, after we get the
safety
pictures of
improvements
what's-
or such would be.
what is
Is there a
currently
listing
on
of
street.
improvements we should work off of?
No, here's what I would say. Let's assess what's there first.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Let's just
And
get
then
everything.
we'll figure out the next piece.
Gaps,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
You know, we got to kind of know because there might be a good, better, best sort of model, or there might be a few different treatments. We say we're going to come up with 2 recommendations: treatment 1 and treatment 2, and depending on what fits in the hole right there, that's sort of what. Because if we make it too complicated for DOT, that's another thing. We'll never do it. So you got to make sure you can boil it
Yeah.
down. Especially right now with the administration changes and stuff. I think Bob Bracchio is swimming in it right now. So.
Yeah.
He was a great ally, but now he's director. It's going to be tougher to get to him. So
Okay.
I do need to go.
I know.
Yeah.
If you have questions beyond that, though, just reach out to
Yeah.
me. And I just hit the button at the top. There's a stop button at the
Okay.
very top, if you could. when
Okay.
you're done. And I'll pick it up and all that stuff.
Okay.
Oh, the red on screen?
Yeah, just next to the red.
Oh, yeah, the circle.
Right here, there's a little stop symbol.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Alright. Okay.
thank you.
The only other thing I just wanted to mention as you're packing up here, I won't be available for the May 12th meeting. So we can, since there's only 4 of us here, we could either, if we want to move the meeting up for the first Thursday or the third Thursday,
I can't be here for the third.
okay, or the bike to school day is May the 6th.
Not
I
here.
don't, that's during the day. You guys probably can't do a meeting then, so.
Whatever you pick, I will need just for facilities wise, because we have so many
Yeah.
meetings that I just need to check it.
Okay,
If you guys decide on a different
okay.
date, we'll figure it out. But
Or you guys just go ahead with, just make sure that you're all gonna be available. Does anybody know that they are not available on the 12th?
Not that I know, I will check.
Alrighty. Is it,
Okay,
all right now.
Okay, well,
thank you.
Okay, what are we looking at?
All right, so on old business, we've talked about Safe Streets for All. I think we've come up with a plan that we're going to write a letter, recommending to the town council that they follow through on Safe Streets for All. That was, and also, which is part of, let's see. The CIP portion of it was with the public outreach.
Yeah, that would include that. A
Would
and B
include
wouldn't
A
be
and B.
included in the letter.
Yeah, okay. Also that on May the 12th because we were looking at some of these older meetings, but on May the 12th, Jay had referred to traffic calming to the town council as a request. but at the time he was advocating for Main Street, but in their vote, town council made it kind of a general effort that they were going to, and I don't really know.
May 12th of 2025.
2025, yeah.
Okay.
So they have been advocating for traffic calming. So I just wanted to mention that we kind of keep up with that, because that is something that does affect pedestrian and bike.
Do you want me to keep this going, or do you want me to continue?
Do we
on?
want to continue to look through? Do we want to look through
I think
the
it would be a bit
intersections?
much to try and do now, but where would you like to look?
No, I'm asking so that I can either take notes
Okay.
or share what you need, because
I think it's better to step away and share individual summaries rather than try and do it all right now. What do you think? Was there a section you wanted to focus on?
Oh, no, I just wondered if
No.
the ones that you
The
know,
ones
your
that
list.
I went to,
Do we wanna
that was
look
on
at-
page, if you can go to pages 37 and 39, this follows it. So these are proposed changes. If you continue to scroll down about through the pages. This is policy and process change,
Yeah,
which I
and-
consider to be the most important section
you
within
know-
Straight Streets for All, as far as activities go. And the grid comes up probably
So,
around.
but, here, the town shall adopt, there were some things
Shall
in there
adopt
that
formal
we saw.
vision 0.
Yeah, but there were some things in there that really were, I mean, when I saw, of course I can't find it right this second. I can't remember what it was, that they have an ADA,
Oh, yes.
that they have somebody within the staff that
town
is
does
a,
not have an Americans with
Yes.
ADA Act
Coordinator.
yes,
coordinator.
yeah. And that kind of, helps inform us, I mean, that would be nice if there was somebody that when we have these issues with
Mhm.
ramps and curbs and for people that, are in wheelchairs or even bikers.
But I don't know if that's the difference between a hammer and an actual, like a picture of a hammer, right? So I know how to fix a ramp, we know how to design a ramp, but then if you just have somebody say, yeah, that ought to be a ramp.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it, I'm just swimming in it. Like,
Well-
this is what I do all day long at the university. So there's merit in that. But if I'm like in the town manager's seat or Luke's seat, I'm like, we've got a bazillion things to
Yeah.
do. Do we have enough?
Do we
I
have
think it'd be
somebody who
wo-
can be certified as an ADA coordinator around here?
Honestly, what
Yeah,
it is,
that's-
it's you have a level, and you know what the specifications are, and you measure. It's not super difficult for sidewalks, getting in and out of buildings.
Mhm.
And the means of egress inside buildings, that's more complicated. Is this intended to be mostly just?
This is pedestrian, this is sidewalk.
Sidewalks?
This
Yeah.
would be just sidewalk because we don't control property managers' private property. This would be pedestrian on sidewalks.
I think this would be an excellent thing for example, somebody, the town engineer or somebody in the town engineering staff to go get training for a day
Certified, yeah.
and get certified. And, it's probably something that they already are aware of if they're not thoroughly versed in it. Yeah, and just saying, oh, this person is our internal, I'm sorry, you don't need to put that on DPS directly. It could be somebody in planning, it could be somebody in
Mhm.
building maintenance.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm sure there are.
So, and this was from the SS4A.
Yes, that would, the town council approved the adoption of in May of last year.
Okay.
Could you zoom in a little bit on the top? Tippity top.
Zoom.
Zoom
That is
or
on page-
move up.
Scroll up
Okay.
Scroll up or
or
zoom?
large. Which do you need, Ken?
Large. I don't know if
Okay,
Okay,
so she has to
It
zoom
is
in.
hard
That's all I
to,
can see. I got it.
1 second.
oh, there,
Top.
where it says 74% come over one, do the plus sign there.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I think that brings us to the next page, or no?
That's okay, we can
There we
scroll.
go.
There we go. Is that Ken-sized?
Sure, thank you.
Now we need page 37?
Page 37 is where that was.
Uh-oh.
No, you're with 4,000.
4,037? 4,037? Okay. Is that,
I
Can
think
we
if you
see-
just hit the little arrow at the very bottom down here, instead of trying to pull that, because that
Yeah,
thing is so
just down,
sensitive.
no, that's not working, sweetheart.
Oh, it
Can
doesn't
you use the
work?
down arrow on your,
I was working to use the down, I was trying to do the down.
okay.
arrow.
But you can see it now, Ken, that the
Yep.
second bullet point under key policy and process findings.
Gotcha, yeah.
But there was another.
Parking
there was a-
fines,
the
we can
parking-
ask if they were increased to make it
Yes.
safer.
They were,
Increase,
They did increase since last year?
yes, they did that in September, they increased the parking fines in Matunic and,
Just Matunic? Because there, they were saying people would pay $25 to park for the day.
no,
That's what a parking ticket, the max was $25. And they were recommending $100 or $200 to
at some
discourage
point
it.
in it to, and then they started saying, well, that's just.
don't pick on Ocean Mist.
Yeah, and the other thing is doing that will stop. There's a whole bunch of communication about stopping the tourists being there.
Mhm.
You don't want to punish them for being at the beach
Right,
because they're supporting our businesses.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think there's some, I think
They
maybe
had it was
have
a
to
full
pick where.
So was
full
it-
meeting. It was a full town council.
Town
meeting.
council in September.
It seems like the
So
the
it was
places
somewhere around September. Yeah.
are on the corners, like if people park too close to the corner,
I think that some of those.
that's where you should, find people,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Yeah, differentiate the fines, but parking here to corner, fine. That's where it was obstructing vision and making it unsafe.
Yeah.
And again, they could make it no parking zones there
They
in
could.
that area and leave larger stretches, but we'll see I'll review what they came up with. Okay,
Okay,
so there were various, and so saying various action items that they could do in this plan that they adopted.
yeah,
And that's what I was getting at, is to advise the town council, push for procedures to implement.
I think that was pretty key. If there's some kind of procedure, and you know that there's
Right.
things are just not done willy-nilly. If you know that, okay, these are the streets that we know, these are the problem areas, and you prioritize them, and then there's a process for it, then people feel a little bit, okay, the next time we have some money, we're gonna do this.
Right.
And I really think that the schools, that was supposed to be a big, around the school areas. I don't know
Oh,
how we can
to have
find
raised
that. I don't know if
crosswalks
there's
near the schools was part of it. Now, but looking at this, some of these have been done. But it's formalizing it so it will be there. If you go under the leadership, the fifth bullet, create a quick build pilot program so municipal departments can conduct their own safety related pilot programs with minimal cost or disruption, potentially 3 per year per department, depending upon the length of trial. So that's one where I think they need the structure. It says pilot program, but as they asked, were specific things that were here that were low cost put on into that type of program. It was clear there's really no program because there's a lot of other distractions. That's where we're going to advocate for the pilot program. And so that they can come back and say, here's what we have for the next 1, 3, 6, 12 months. So that they are prioritized. And that's what I think we talked about earlier, is not in place yet. But you can see the fourth one, pursued the Safe Streets for All funding, and they're actively doing that.
Mm-hmm. Let's go down to the next page and see.
I'm trying to do that. So that's my next thing. Is this?
Incorporate recommendations from this plan into the town's pavement management program.
Right.
Have they really done that? I mean,
I don't think so.
No, but the town council approved that it
No,
would be done.
but part of this plan is the public engagement. So
Right.
that's what that's can be one of the things that we're, so this is page
Yes, that's included.
It's
2.
page
How it
38,
works.
6.
Basically, if you go through 38 through that and 39, you'll have all of the actionable points that were identified in this plan. And as an advisory committee, we have a template in which we can advise the council. You should perhaps have a more formal structure to implement these.
Okay, but the, uh-oh,
Sorry,
it's okay.
37, 38.
Okay, so it come down just to the next page, because there was, yeah, it's hard to move down to the next thing.
It's
Is it
real-
Public
it's
Works?
too
Okay.
big.
So the second bullet, establish town policy and criteria for evaluating requests for mid-block crosswalks and level of traffic control needed. I mean, I don't know how often that happens, that there's a request, but there should be a policy for it. You know, that's where,
We were talking about that for High Street.
I'm talking about High Street, and he said that's a state road, but that is a road that, and as I drive down it, I've made note of it. None of the streets coming in from the west tend to meet the streets coming in from the east. So you need mid-block crosswalks
'Cause
on
there
that
is no
street.
full block.
And that's when that it's asked for, but we can push for them to reach out to the state to do it. And actually, at each of those corners, the sidewalk cuts have been directed only where there's sidewalk across the way. There's no sidewalk cuts that will lead across the street.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Because there's no no corner at the other side. They specifically designed it that if there's no opposing, if it's not like a four-way intersection,
Right.
there's no crosswalk.
I see what
But
you're
we
saying.
could advocate
I
for
didn't understand that
one
before.
of the longer streets in town for a mid-block crosswalks there. You can't really
So
comfortably
you're
get.
saying like where Church Street comes,
Say if you come down Allen's Avenue, it's a T intersection.
right,
There's no crosswalk to get across from a street that has a sidewalk along the side of it to get to the sidewalk on the other side of the street because it's mid-block.
Yeah, I think to your point, so the interesting thing is the roadway or highway design is not. They want to be careful about how many crosswalks they have. Depends on where you're at. You know what I mean? Just because there's an intersecting street doesn't mean there needs to be a crosswalk there. So I mean, it's a little bit of head scratching that goes on.
But at some of the more significant street, like Allen's, where you have a sidewalk on it. On those where you don't have a sidewalk on the other side of the street, don't put in a crosswalk.
I'm with you.
Right now, there are two crosswalks on High Street. One is in front of this building, and the other is all the way up near the fire station at Church Street.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I'm with you on that. So I mean, I know the engineer that did the design for DOT when they reconstructed High Street. And I don't think the town at that point in time did a heavy lift. Usually what you do is you try to match up where people are coming and going. So I like your thought about Allen Avenue. It's like, there's a ton of people that should go up there. Similarly, back in the day, a ton of people were going to Wakefield Elementary School.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big different. That's a bit different. You had Wakefield Elementary at the time when they redid High Street,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, Allen's Ave has had a few really horrific accidents there.
A lot of that is obstructed by the bushes to the
bushes,
north
yeah.
side of it there. But if you have a crosswalk and something to slow the traffic, to calm it down there, maybe it would help. And you could also think for the access to the bike path, there is the road that leads to the cemetery that does not have a crosswalk to it. So if we could recommend to the town that they go to DOT to, on a major street in town, look at mid-block crosswalks, that would be helpful.
now, so that one says, criteria for evaluating requests.
Right. And we recommend criteria from streets with with already existing sidewalks that lead to effectively nowhere.
Yeah. And again, mid-block is meant to imply that at the terminus, there's a stop sign and there's a crosswalk there. So mid-block is like it's a short street.
Right.
It's like, do you even need one? It's a longer street,
Mhm.
you know, then you take a look at it and you kind of figure.
At least people from the
Well-
adjacent streets could get to that, and walk around and
Within
walk and
reason
get across.
versus
Yes.
at some point somebody's mind's going to be like, I'm just going
Well,
to
it's-
dash
I
across
mean,
the road.
a park to go over to the eclectic.
See, this was brought to
know?
my attention, they're talking about improving the park. But people further up the street would have to come all the way down here, and then what are the sidewalks set up to do that, and where's the crosswalk?
that
Or to
Kentucky
get into
Park?
town to go shopping, or to, you know, to reach various points. There are key intersections that we could recommend that they look at, with certain criteria that would, to advocate for. Not every street.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that's a good,
Okay,
It's a good thought.
a good,
okay.
oh, you.
Well, I think the benefit of this is the town took this, approved this, and we have a structure on which to base recommendations.
Yeah.
They approved it. They
Right.
adopted it. They adopted it, Ken.
Oh, stop. Stop, just me.
Okay,
There's
I mean,
16
there's-
to 30, this is page 39 and the end of 38.
well, I mean, we could really go through, here's Public Works again. Okay, so we went 1, 2, okay, the third, develop a policy, determine when the town should add vertical or granite curbing to sidewalks when repairing or replacing a sidewalk, okay? Consider removing center lines from roads.
That one was interesting.
When annual average daily traffic is lower. I don't even know what that is.
What they recommended in the study
like
is that
that
if there
idea.
is a center line in the road,
Okay.
people tend to drive faster.
Is that right?
And so if there is no center line in the road, they tend to slow down. It's not like, okay, this is yours, go. It is listed in the report as actually traffic calming to take the center line out.
To reduce speeding.
Where there's a 20 road of 20 feet or less to reduce speeding.
Conversely, well, right, that's fair, but for other roads, if you're gonna have a center line, for whatever reason, having the fog lines striped and
Yeah.
striping them a little bit more narrowly defined,
Yeah,
it kind of makes people
constrained, yeah.
feel constrained.
Well, that was a big study that narrowing the lanes makes people go slower.
Okay.
Ensure emergency preparation system. Install side guards and adopt hands-free phone technology.
That's for the
Oh, that's-
municipal vehicles
okay, we
to
don't-
make them safer by having, you know,
Yeah.
hands-free phone. I guess you're driving one of these older trucks.
Okay,
You've got to
planning.
use your cell phone to communicate.
Where are we? 39. Did we get this planning?
We just have to go up just a little bit more, just a little bit.
Oh.
Ah.
The one that had Saugatucket.
Okay, let's go back to 39.
Oh yeah, hit him over on the side there. Okay, up one more. The next one.
38?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
We got to get to the
Hit that
bottom
one.
of it.
Okay, now planning.
Okay, let's
Advanced
see if I can
actions.
go here. Oh no, if I do that, then I'm not.
So
okay.
if you hit this down here, does that can you do it more slowly? if you
Ooh,
hit-
that.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
No,
Did we
we're
time out?
fine. I don't
Oh
know.
no.
Okay.
We shouldn't have.
I didn't touch anything. I don't think I touched anything.
Oh no, yeah, we timed out.
Okay. Well, can we go
Okay.
back and list to each other what recommendations you think we can include to the town? We'll take that
Well,
as it.
I mean,
not
there's-
overwhelm them.
Right.
Pick a few bullet points and then start the process.
Well, I mean, when you look at this whole, I think this is good
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, it's good to kind of keep this. Those are actual. We
Risk
known-
rated.
I mean, some of this is.
You saw this, right?
Some of this
I've
is.
seen it before.
The ones I highlighted in yellow are the ones that are town.
Yep.
And,
Some of this
and
is
I
make
put
a
to the right of
plan.
them the dollar signs. Single dollar is low cost, double dollar, moderate cost, and they went all the way up to 4. But
So we know that they're working on that parking lot. Okay.
what, at hospital?
At the hospital, we know they're doing that.
Right.
And we know that intersection is on this plan. So it makes sense to let's do them in conjunction,
Well, the plan references in light of that parking
Yeah.
lot going in,
right,
do the following.
right,
So we can advocate on that.
yeah,
But we'll start with that, with maybe these two low cost saying, let's follow up on those, and then they can prioritize the two, but please one of them. I will,
okay, and what was the second one, the second?
well, the other was Matunic Beach Cards Pond.
You know what I don't understand about that is when they say take away the parking.
Well,
How do you do that?
what
I
they
mean,
can
I
do
park,
is a
that's
no
where
parking.
we park when we go to the
Seaview
CV
Market.
Market. We park,
Well, it's, I mean,
how do you,
so the Matunic Village Study had talked about having kind of a gateway into the village at that
Right.
location. So one option, which is not great, is to look at a mini roundabout there to kind of direct traffic, and any surplus property, kind of, you talk about how this could benefit the community and the abutters. There's no easy way to do it. I've worked on similar designs where you have buildings that are right up towards the edge of the roadway, and it's just tough. The town owns the responsibility to try to figure out how to deal with the parking. You'd never like people to come park head in and then back out into traffic. It's a severely constrained site.
just because we go to Town Beach a lot.
Yep.
And we park there to get we park there and get our subs before we go to the beach. And I don't know that it's, a big problem or a big issue. Everybody seems to find a spot, or you turn around and you go park on the other side, So you don't want to kind of mess with that. Now,
Right.
if they're worried that people are pulling too close to the edge of the roadway there, of Cards Pond, like, okay, then maybe they just put some kind of barrier there so that you can't park.
During the summer?
Yeah. I'm just saying off-road.
Well,
I mean, I don't know, there's a telephone pole there.
what's interesting is, who's the bigger property owner on the diagonally opposite side of Seaview Market? It's the town. Town owns that massive field. So town has.
Oh, but on the opposite, on
Where
the
the
big-
entrance to the
big
town
field?
parking lot is.
Right, but that speaks to what the village study talked about. So I sit around about, what if it was a three-way stop? We suggested that
Yeah.
when we met with the folks in
Yeah.
Matunic. That it was a three-way stop where you would have a crosswalk.
Yeah.
You park in the parking lot. You walk over, and there you go. This is conservation property. It's a little complicated.
It'd be nice too
But-
if they had an off-road path on the other side. Oh, look at you.
I'm learning.
How did you do that?
GIS site.
I'm learning. I told
Okay.
you.
Oh, right. Look at this. Okay. Cards Pond Road,
And
okay.
There's Cards Pond Road.
Yeah.
Let me,
So, like right here, it'd be nice if there was you could walk here. People walk on the side of the road there. It would be nice if there was a path or something that you could walk all the way down. Because people that are over in Carpenter Beach, they're walking on the side of the road with their kids on their bikes and everything loaded up.
But
And
But I think the cited as a parking and a hazard there is directly across from Seaview Market.
yeah, this
On
is
the
where
west
they
side
pointed, right
intersection,
here.
where you can block the view of the rest of the intersection.
Right. They don't want cars parking right up on the edge there.
Right?
well, that's fair.
So again, this gets into engineering, and we should ask, what is the town right of way? Like right now, we know what the width of the asphalt is, but I have no idea how much property the town owns. Because if there were an opportunity to have a legitimate, hey, well, we could probably grab another few feet and actually have a legitimate on-street parking area, well then, that's good. But we don't know that.
Yeah.
And you know, the building is fixed. On the Seaview Market is fixed.
Yeah.
There's not much space. They don't have a ton of space to deal with, so that seems to be a constraint for their clientele.
Yeah, there's parking, there's
The
parking
question is what
here,
is
and
the,
there's parking here. And then when you're coming down, people are parking here. So I don't know if you can make that, I mean, it's just dirt over there.
Well, it's dirt because people parked on it.
Yeah.
And I guess as I'm looking, I'm on Street View on my laptop, and you look at where the telephone poles are on the opposite side of the street. It looks like, you know, telephone poles aren't on private property, so it looks like the town probably has the width. But again, what problem are we solving right now?
It's about the
the-
visibility for pedestrians to cross the street,
Yeah.
Well,
So
or for or cyclists
it's
trying to come out of Cards Pond.
What their recommendation
Right.
is sightline, but did they also suggest a three-way stop? In the Safe Streets for All, did they suggest a three-way stop?
I'd have to go back to the page, but they had some specific recommendations for it. It's item 20. So in Safe Streets for All, we can look at what the specific recommendation was and the projected cost to do it.
okay, we're back there.
Okay, you would have to go in preceding
Oh.
sections
Wow,
where
you
they
are-
did
Look
evaluation.
at you go. Okay.
Do you know which preceding section?
I'm going to guess it started at like page, start around page 33. Or keep going.
Okay,
No, it would,
34?
no, it's much more detailed as to what they had in these.
5. That's 36, 37.
All right, because they have the pictures.
Well, maybe it follows because there was 103 pages. Wait, here, there's a section that talks about
Okay, here
it.
we
So
go.
it is going to
This
be,
Targeted
see, that
location.
shows you like low cost, which they start 50,000 or less, but it's a matter of whatever you come up with. And
This
they have
is-
it on pages here.
Well, I don't know what page that is.
Or can you continue down?
It's all the way, it's at the very, towards the end, where they have all the pictures of, they've got Saw Pond.
Wait, stop. Go up a little bit. Go up to like 46, so let me just see what that there.
Okay.
Okay, second.
There it is. This item, this has the individual recommendations for various sections, and it was number 20 initially, but
Let me go get you back there.
these don't correspond to what's on the grid later on.
Bridgetown Road,
Keep going
up or down?
up.
Main Street.
You keep going because you know what? These are the state flagged ones. The ones owned by the town precede the state.
Okay.
Okay, so we're
The state owned,
Okay,
keep going,
so
you're
keep
almost
going.
there. There's only 4 of them. Matunic, right there, number
Okay,
4.
right in the middle. Okay.
Realign intersection and decrease curb radii. Restrict parking on northwest side of intersection to improve sight distance. Install sidewalks on Matunic Beach Road. From the elementary school to the town beach. That's a big dollar. No,
Ooh,
that's got
yeah.
4. That's got $3
Yeah,
signs.
that's $3.
we're all like,
Add edge line on Cards Pond, trim vegetation, and investigate whether 3-way stop is warranted. Those were the recommendations.
How do we, okay, I mean, Luke has talked about, we've got Curtis Corner, they're doing something there, they're doing something at high school, we've got Old Mountain Field, you know, this is something that's in a different part of town that deserves to have a little attention.
Installing a three-way stop sign is the top low to no cost
Yeah.
thing that the town could do, and the town has been doing that, and they're advocating for it for a church in Railroad Avenue. They did it at Woodruff Avenue.
Hmm.
I mean, that seems to be something that honestly can get turned right over to public services.
Hmm.
We've greased the skids by having, public meeting in Matunic at the community center a few years ago. Council's endorsed this or adopted the plan, so we're nice. Yeah. How about we start here?
Mhm.
It doesn't really impact. It should be positively impacting everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
slow the heck down as you approach this densely populated area. And for those that do park on the other opposite side of the street, well, now you've got a stop condition, so you're not going to get whacked as easily.
Maybe
it might even calm Blueberry Hill and Cards Pond around Blueberry Hill, which is where Tom was very
Yeah.
concerned about.
Yeah.
So that's a
Tom Hogan,
Yeah,
Mhm.
maybe a way to approach this is that when we write recommendations to the town, is that we say, this is for Wakefield, this is for Matunic,
Hmm.
this, so they can see that there's different areas. So we've got by the hospital because of the new hospital parking.
Hmm.
Okay, and these are all, this is something that we know is happening, and Safe Streets for All, which you've already adopted, is recommending.
Hmm.
So we don't have to say all of them. You were suggesting that maybe the three-way stop is the cheapest, and probably the most impactful.
And consider the rest for future incremental improvements if warranted.
So, what I'm hearing from you is you're setting yourself up shortly to talk to the town council.
We're gonna write a letter.
To send
You're
the
gonna first write a
communication.
letter and then
Recommendation.
so my question is how much do we want to bring to their attention at once?
We
want
without
to we
overwhelming them.
want to start the process, not
Yeah.
everything we can think of. Let's
Good.
start the process.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's
and
That's
and
one of
you
the
were
biggest
suggesting two things.
Yes,
just two. Perfect.
just two.
And I'm thinking that if we do much more than that,
So that's why I went for ones that had low cost, Salt Pond and this.
Okay, so then how do we address, and maybe we wait for like the Curtis Corner cut through
That's
signage? That's
That's a
separate.
lot.
that's
that's-
pretty far out, phase 3. They're
Phase
just
three.
finishing tear down, and now he's
And
got
they're
to
starting.
now he's got to
So
do
let's keep that
yes.
on our radar.
so
Yes.
that's I'm going to put that into recurring business.
Yes.
Okay.
So that it's always on our radar.
Okay,
Okay. I put a note in there already
Okay.
to put into recurring
Okay.
business.
but there was something else, I'm gonna have to look back and just make sure I understood, because there was something, when Luke was talking about and I didn't take good notes, but Luke was talking about all of the grants that he put in for,
Mm-hmm.
and was it the, was it the Safe Streets for All, when he was there reapplying? And he said economic development, Wakefield Village Association.
Oh,
he
he's
put
where he
in-
said they would need like a letter
He
of
was gonna
support
send
to
it.
go to Reed's office
Okay.
Yes.
let me-
for
let
the
me
secondary.
go- Let me just find that.
I think that
Okay.
he said he was gonna send us a template.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
he did.
So I just couldn't remember if that was what it was. So there's two things we're gonna work on.
We need a letter of support for Main Street recommendations
For the
for SS4A.
Okay,
And although they have no concept for it, it's just for
Okay.
the reconstruction of Main Street.
and that would be going to Reed's office.
no,
He
well,
might
would
need
go-
two. He
it
might
would
need
be-
Safe Streets for All and to Reed's office. Anticipate two because there was going to
Oh,
be the
that's
request
true.
there.
Yeah, that would be it. That was.
okay,
You're right.
Hmm. Okay.
okay.
Once in a while that happens.
Don't let it go to your head.
I'm like that broken clock.
You're right, twice a day.
What's it?
Okay.
I missed the reference. What happened?
No, I was just mocking myself, that's
Oh,
all.
okay.
Self-deprecation happens every once in a while.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
And to the town council, we were gonna include the comment about, as we said, the CIP. Okay.
Okay, I did have that in there too.
But that's all gonna be in one
Okay.
letter. Okay, so just two things to the town council.
Mm-hmm.
But there's actually three things.
Well, the
'cause-
SAY's two categories. One, CIP inclusion of community, and second, these two
Okay.
these
All
two
right.
categories.
All right. Okey doke.
So, and the second category includes Kenyon, Matunic,
That's it.
That's it.
and that's it.
Good. Okay.
That's a
All right, so we've got,
good goal.
okay, we're at 6. We did B.
C, we
we
addressed.
said, and C, the date for inventory bike path, we're gonna talk that next time.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're gonna
He's-
do that off
Luke is gonna set up a second meeting.
a second meeting, okay.
We might have to send him a
D,
thank you.
Discussion on potential subcommittee assignments. I think we're gonna keep kicking that down, till
Yeah.
we have more people. Unless somebody wants to jump in and, if there's some other, I think we've got, if anybody wants to liaise with the Parks and Rec or police, then, that's fine. Or, the schools.
That would lead me just to bring up one other point that I didn't see on the agenda as far as subcommittee assignments. And again, to expand the size of this group, I had a few thoughts on it, and actually one of them was since we're trying to talk about bike safety, walking safety near schools, if it's all right with this group, I'll do outreach to PTAs at the schools to say, are there interested parents in regards to this? And my daughter actually, when I talked about the inclusion here for the Americans with Disabilities Act, said that there are usually in some of the PTAs a subgroup for the handicapped students. And we may have, see if we can find an advocate of somebody who might want to join and add that category to the ADA component for this group. So with the advice of this group, I'll reach out to the PTAs and see if they would be interested,
Yeah.
parents
Absolutely.
groups, because those are people who are active already. I didn't mention to Luke that when I went to the town website, it shows the PTAs for 2024 and 25 to 25 school year. But there are contact emails, so I'll reach out to those emails.
Yeah. I think it'd be great if if we did some kind of public meeting with some of the, I don't know, principals or PTA or students about what they need, what they see. Because this is something that's on our radar, is the crossings and the intersections around the schools. What do they see? You got crossing, we could talk to the crossing guards, we could talk to, what are the kinds of things that they're looking for to make it better for students, safer for students to get to school. There might be some little things that can happen that we can advocate for.
We used to have a pretty strong connection to some of the folks, parents that were part of the PTAs, West Kingston, in particular, Peacedale, and they were catalysts to get folks together for the Bike to School days. I attended one West Kingston PTA meeting many years ago as we were getting ready to build the URI bike path, and it's good, but it's kind of time limited. So you might find somebody, but they're
gone in a year.
Right,
Yeah.
right, for
3 or 4 or 5 years or whatever, and then
Yeah,
the
well, I
kids age
wasn't
out.
thinking necessarily just for membership. I was thinking
No,
maybe
it's
once a
fine.
year,
Yeah.
we have like our, whatever, our, I don't know if you could find it. I don't know what time of year would be best, but let's say April every year, you know, before they have their bike to school, it'll be focused on schools and, you know, safety around schools.
But it also increases the geographic diversity of members of the committee if we get people to
Yeah,
join
oh yeah,
from those.
yeah.
So I'll do the reach out and see what
Yeah.
kind of response. I'll say here points to consider addressing.
Yeah, and it doesn't, you know, I mean, could be a faculty member, it could be a staff member at a school. Okay, you talked about the bike, I think we talked a little bit about the, bike event potential with 250th, and I looked back over what my notes were from our last meeting, and Ken, I think you had suggested to latch on to something that's already happening, and there's gonna be a Veterans Day parade. So is there a 4th of July parade?
No, I mean,
No.
Okay.
it's just the 4th of July fireworks at Old Lawn Field.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe the
It's
thing
just
to
a
do
Sunday.
is for Veterans Day, if there's a Veterans Day
There
parade.
is a parade.
Let's maybe latch on to that and have a big, you know, talk about maybe having a big bike.
Would we want to
Um,
do it for the firemen's parade instead?
What
If
is-
that's a
Memorial Day?
possibility? Yeah, Memorial.
There's Memorial Day and Veterans Day parade, and then
Yeah.
there's the firemen's.
Well, I think, isn't Memorial Day should be a little bit more solemn though, isn't it? I mean, you don't want kids with flags. I mean, do
Mm.
you? I don't know. I always think of people think Memorial Day is, they get it mixed up with Veterans Day. So,
Well, you'd think so, but, you know, Little League marches, Scouts march, everybody,
Okay.
there are various
Yeah.
groups that do it.
yeah, but marching, but I
Yeah.
don't know about, you know,
Mhm.
bikes decked out. I don't know.
Okay.
If there is, so there is a Memorial Day parade?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that Veterans Day parade is always a rainy, cold day.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was just my reasoning
Yeah.
of saying a
And
different-
everybody was
a different
angling to get
parade.
into Phil's for breakfast.
Yeah.
Is the Memorial Day, is it on Main Street?
Yeah,
Yeah.
same route.
Same route.
And,
I thought the firemen's parade was in like September and it's much smaller.
Don't know.
Am I thinking incorrectly?
No.
No, and I think it's just fire trucks.
Well, it's just firemen, it's not firemen.
Yeah.
who coordinates? You said the Memorial Day is the fire
But you can probably
department?
check who the town permitting process for parades is, and they'd know.
It's changing.
Steve Stewart has been like one of the major coordinators of mostly the Veterans Day parade. I know he helped organize, he spearheaded the 300th parade we also had.
Oh,
So he's affiliated with the VFW right across the way here on High Street. He would be a good point of contact
okay, for Veterans Day. What about
for parades.
oh, for parades?
Like he's
Okay.
like,
All right.
He
he's
does the
Mr.
organizing, he manages, and he,
Okay.
just
Okay.
just just a Mr. Parade guy, amongst other things.
I wrote that down, Mr. Parade. Okay, so, new business, the escape plan, next steps. I'm just gonna, I just wanna scooch down to see. All right, we had May 6th is Bike to School Day. I probably will try to, hang, you know, go over there and just see what's going on. Okay. Alrighty, so for the escape plan.
What is
And-
the escape plan?
That is a plan that was put forth by
Wedgemont.
Council
Yep.
Member Wedgemont to connect Main Street with Town Beach, with Matunic, to find some way to provide access across Route 1.
Okay.
I think, just. Yeah, firemen's parade.
I'm not sure how qualified we are to, we can certainly make suggestions and look at how we think the route should go, and, because I think you need to figure out how you're gonna get from here to there to try to figure out where the crossing should be. So
It's a
it might be, it's a huge,
huge project to
It's a
figure.
huge-
Yeah.
And there's also the, I mean, the crossing can be many different ways. You could do under, over, just having like stoplights at the right places and having people cross like in Charlestown.
But yeah,
You know, there's ways.
without
the
your-
latter is what likely would happen in our lifetime or our children's lifetime. So Charlestown and Wesley have done that. They've popped in signals. You know,
Yeah.
used to have the old jug handles, and as things get more dense, or DOT actually starts looking at the traffic and crash data, they're like, yeah. that ought to be a signal, which has its own set of problems. But when you're fully stopped, then it's much safer to dart across. You know. And it's complicated because it's state, and that's a federally funded highway. So that's not a state highway line, that's a freeway line. So there's very, very limited access. On top of everything, we've designated Route 1 as a scenic corridor. There's a lot of entitlements that are needed. If I had a magic wand, I'd have, oh God, I don't even know how you'd do it. Having some sort of signalized intersection would be wonderful. But if we're talking about the town beach, it's difficult because it's not a four-way. We don't have another street on the other side, on
Right.
the north side, to get across.
Yeah.
And one of the earlier renditions of the BPAC had a resident from Matunic who had children and has children in Matunic, and they would send them to Tuckertown, ride their bicycle. And I'm like,
What the hell?
that's dangerous, right? So it's tough. So it's like you got two disconnected communities. You got a 4-lane divided highway in between them.
Yeah.
I like the idea, the concept, and I think it should go forward as a concept.
Yes.
But it's
I've
way beyond our scope.
Yeah, I've thought about, even with the thought of Main Street, once you get by the Muse, there is no room for bikes on that road.
There's width, but the way they stripe it and the
But-
speed
yeah.
doesn't.
But if we're
Speed.
talking about some way for kids
Yeah.
to get, so I don't know how you'd get over there, but when he was talking about town park, the Marina Park,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Now, when you're talking about, massive projects, I don't know if you were to do some kind of, like, once you get over, if you could get over right there,
That's what
and
we're
then you do
But-
off-road on the other, on the parallel to
Could
the
you pull up
highway.
the
The
map?
map again?
Because
Yeah.
as you say that, like I was at Java Madness last weekend. It's like and I would ride my bike there. I still do occasionally during the summertime. You can get there,
Yeah, just go underneath.
right?
Yeah. Right, and I didn't really understand why they wanted to do an overpass.
And I'm struggling with that as well.
That's what
because
comes to mind. But I think what
Because
he had
it just
proposed
seems
was
like
getting
that's
to
a-
underneath to the other side and going parallel to Route 1 to get over there.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Which
Oh, I'm sorry
I would say, if the town were going to muster up funding and political will to try to make that happen, like you don't do it there because you could clearly just drive or
Right.
walk or ride your bike
Yeah, I
underneath
just
Route 1
Didn't understand.
versus look at Matunic, which is stranded.
Yeah,
East Matunic is stranded. Because I've done that too. I'll go down South Road and get onto Main Street and then cut across. Literally,
Yeah.
I'll pick my bike up and jump the guardrail
yeah,
and go down Old Post Road near Camp Fuller.
right.
And then I'm the salmon swimming upstream. Then I have to dart out opposite direction on Route 1 for a hot minute. And then I just
Yeah.
go into Jerry Brown Farm Road and I can make my
Yeah.
way into East Matunic.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So in Maryland, and I wish I could figure out how to show this to you, but they had these boardwalks. This is on the eastern shore in Maryland. And I mean, this thing went like a mile. And it was it was over a wetlands area. It was along the side of the road. And it was a raised boardwalk. And you think, if you could somehow you know, this is where you're gonna come across under here somehow, okay? And if you could somehow do an, you know,
But
Well-
so,
Well, what's
so
west
here's
of
one
Pond
thing
Street?
here is Pond Street is right here.
What's
yeah,
west
but
of it?
that's, that would be
That's-
ridiculous to send people down.
No,
don't
no,
you
no,
think?
it's not.
No,
and,
absolutely
and
not.
this is, and you can see there's like, there's rights of way or there's
So
utility
there's
easements.
Utility easement right there.
So I think, I think it's Greg Sweet had mentioned this at some point years ago. So it's an interesting concept. I think if you zoom out a little bit, what you want to do is try to see,
I think
if you
X
can
out of
go
that to the
further-
left, where it says Salt Pond, if you hit that X. Get,
But then I can't get it back again.
oh,
No, I'm sorry.
okay.
Because what
just
you
kidding.
Okay.
what you
never
want
mind.
to do is get to like the street network that's down to the bottom left of that whole.
Yeah, just scooch it over. There we
There we
go.
go.
Okay.
How'd that happen?
So, and then you have the little, off-road there, 1A. You got that.
So I would, if again we had limited money, so we had $4 million. Before I try to figure out a flyover, how to get up and over Route 1, well, you
Yeah.
can get under Route 1 two different ways. On Salt Pond Road, where Silver Spring Marina is,
Right.
and you can get through also on the other side where
Right.
Marina Park is. What you're talking about is the concept that you have. Once you're over there,
Yeah.
basically you have to get on the other side of Saugatuck River, and the only way you could do that is to be on Salt Pond. I
Yeah.
think it's Salt Pond, right?
So
That-
get over it.
But then it's like then you need all this infrastructure through very sensitive
Oh yeah,
wetlands.
that is
Right.
Okay, that's where he was saying that it was. Never mind. I got confused when he said it was the Saugatucket River, and I'm like, Saugatucket Road doesn't go there. It's Saugatucket
No, the river.
Yeah.
And
That makes
and the unfortunate thing is again if you scroll like south, we want to look at what's south of here.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Just follow Route 1.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is all of you see the post road to the left here,
Yeah.
where Camp Fuller is.
The 1A.
It's not enough to get to any of those streets because if you want to go further to East Matunic, you can't get there. You have to pop out on Route 1
Well, no.
for a short section.
No, because I think that was the thing. Fuller, you come down Camp Fuller, there's some town property here.
Yeah, but
And there's, it looked like there was some way that you could come across here. And then look at this,
Let's see.
yeah, I understand.
right? And then here's this park.
So, but
So I think that
Okay.
they was talking
Alright.
about coming along down
yeah, that would
towards the
that would
end.
make sense. So the biggest hindrance would be getting over the Saugatucket River, or you just say to the folks that are on the near Java Madness and Marina Park, say no, you got to ride through town, and you've got to go on Salt Pond Road and come out on the other side of Saugatucket River.
So then you'd come over here, get onto Saugatuck, and then.
Yeah. I think if there's
Uh,
some way, see, that's
Yeah.
another, if you could get maybe some raised boardwalk to go from from the state beach to where that Ocean Ave waterfront public access point is.
I don't. So
So I've ridden my bike
yeah,
here,
I've done that too.
and then I walked it across.
Yep.
Right, and of course then I've gone up here, but
Right.
but you could the problem is this road is just to ride on that road is dangerous. Go ahead.
No. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean that's some roads ought to stay reasonably narrow, right? 30 years ago, people at DOT thought, you know what, we got to fix Ministerial Road. We need to make it wider, safer. You got to cut down those sharp corners, and the
Yeah.
community pushback said, yeah, no way. We love it rural.
Yeah.
We love it the way it is. So with that in mind, I look at that road, that corridor, and I grew up in Matunic or East Matunic many years ago. You look at traffic calming as the mechanism to have vehicles behave with pedestrians and bicycles, versus trying to blow it out.
Keeps
Yeah,
the character,
and-
but the access to the character is what we're looking
Right.
for.
I think Neil's right. It's the access. So there are places where we talked about it earlier in Matunic, people coexist. They're walking on Carriage Pond Road. People kind of coexist in East Matunic. You really want to try and enhance how people are cooperating, and it's not the bicyclists and the pedestrians that are killing people in cars. It's the reverse. So you got to slow the cars down.
Yeah.
What has to happen?
I mean, I know that Jay said that he has looked at it and he's seen some, I think when we had that meeting, some, because he knows that area.
He was
And
talking
he
about
was
the
talking-
seven sisters, or not the seven sisters, but something about some land that's owned by 7 people and it's always in flux.
Can we ask him to come back to revisit his
Well,
plan
that's-
so that
so
we
I'm
can,
gonna-
we can see how to augment?
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm thinking, I'm looking at I was looking at the agenda before, and the exact thing that we have here is process for, where is it? New business. Escape plan next step, build framework for BPAC involvement.
Right.
So for us to actually go on to the escape plan is not what we need to do right now. It's build the framework for our involvement.
Mhm.
How are we, I mean, is it going to be an ad hoc committee? Is it going to be us? Is it going to be, what is how are we going to get, if Councilman Wedgemont is not elected in for the next
Yeah.
term, what happens to
Yeah,
the
and
escape plan?
And he wanted to know
And-
what we were doing, and if we weren't or didn't want to or whatever, he would look for some other avenues. Now, I don't know what that means, but I think that he,
And these are all questions that,
I mean, he might want to form another committee to do that. I don't.
Yeah. and if he,
It's a big
so I
job
think
for.
we have to communicate with him a little bit more
Yeah.
about
Yes.
what he,
To revisit.
we need to revisit to create the plan and work with him to create the plan, because
Like, where does he see it? On the north side of Route 1. I mean, I think he wants there to be some way for people north of Route 1 to get to the town beach. That we're linking that, okay?
So, okay, I'm with you.
But I don't know from where. I mean, is he talking about Main Street? Or is he talking, I mean, if you're coming down Main Street, there's not the infrastructure for bikes right now to come down Main Street.
This is so wildly beyond what this committee can even reasonably,
take on.
Yeah. Like we could spend an entire summer doing nothing but just traipsing through, doing research, validating who owns the property, all the wet property between, Saw Pond, and trying to make our way bushwhack all the way out to Camp Fuller, and
Sounds
try
like
to
a
figure.
great summer.
It does actually.
Maybe
if
it's
I
a
was like
project for,
much
some
younger,
maybe some
but
URI
but
students
you
wanna
need a
take part.
basis, and
Yeah.
then you look at all the entitlements, all the other challenges you have to try to make that successful. And as I'm looking at, zooming in on the neighborhoods, I'm like, oh yeah, I heard Gina Raimondo has a house out over there, and you see over time how there's been bits and pieces of development. It's like you have to do a thorough analysis to figure out how to not be on Route 1, but to get from in town out towards
Yeah.
East Matunic. And it's not easy. And it's the folks that are along the tooth are like, I remember when I was a kid, we used to walk along
but
the
then the development has been so great since then,
right.
and that's
So I like the concept, but here it is. Just like Luke was saying earlier, you're asking, how do we even start to push the needle forward? You need money, and you need to hire somebody to do the analysis, and that's all that they're doing.
I think that, members of the community, I think about just the little bit that Narragansett had to do to finish the bike path.
Well,
And they're what they went through with that I can't remember the name of the consulting firm that they used and how much
We
money
used
that
many
cost.
of them, and
But it
Dupree
was
the last one.
ridiculous, you know?
And that's on an existing rail right of way,
Yeah.
which was built up. It was flat, level, carried trains. This, we don't have that here.
No.
You just don't have it.
No.
What I do see is remnants, or maybe they're still active. It's a little bit further north of the screen. You can see bits and pieces of utility lines.
Right, right.
It's just a straight swath
Yeah.
of property that's been cut into.
Yeah,
just
I
north of
remember zooming
north of
in
Camp
and-
Fuller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you can see it.
You can kind of see little bits and pieces, and I'm not sure if that's a utility right of way, or is it a driveway, or is it a ditch for draining swamps for mosquitoes. It's like somebody'd have to go through and look at. First of all, you figure out who owns it. If it's all private property, it's almost a non-starter.
Yeah.
And again,
And
Spartina Cove, like I see the road, but I see that last house towards the end. I'm like, yeah, pretty sure they own pretty close, if not right up, towards.
Yeah.
Especially they own up to the water.
Yeah, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
it's well intended. It needs something like that needs to happen.
Yeah, I just, as far as like where 1A there comes and then it crosses over, is that
Yeah.
where it comes to South Road, goes
Yeah.
up towards South
Yeah,
Road? and everything?
that's how
And-
that's how I do it. Like I'll come down and I wait. I pick up my bike. I run across Route 1. I jump over the guardrail, and then I ride on 1A.
I mean, could you, in your wildest dreams, see a stoplight there?
So
It could.
let's just it's a tough curve, number one,
Yeah.
but it's not as bad as it's just as bad as
Was it Ross Hill Road in Charlestown?
just past Quaney.
Yeah, there is
Or is
one
there,
that's
is there 112? I forget.
no, it's there's
216 there?
216.
yeah,
It's
where-
actually
Has
there's
traffic
one
light.
that's
Yeah, it has traffic. So
there's one right after 216 that's right on a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there could be one there, but here's the point: after you get there,
Yeah.
where do you go?
Right.
So if you scroll down and see how far you get down Route 1A, it's
1A.
like, and this is what I do. I when it merges back to Route 1, I just like I'm gonna ride the opposite direction in the breakdown lane
To get to
until I
Jerry
get
Brown?
to Jerry Brown. That's how I get into East Mattoonic, because then you're in Jerry Brown. I cut through the was it South County, whatever the development is,
Yeah.
and I come back out
So-
on
Victoria Lane where the water tank is.
So you came down Jerry Brown, but what if you came down off of 1A, Camp
Camp
Fuller,
Fuller.
and
There's no connector.
no, but I know, but I'm just saying maybe that there's a place that you could have a connector.
Sure.
And I wanted to say that there was something here, like it was a land trust or something.
Mhm.
I don't remember, but I looked at it at one point and I said, well, maybe that's how you come across. And then but see, then you'd have to get everybody's buy-in and look at Narragansett. You can
I
get
don't
people
think we're
to.
in Narragansett though. We're not in Narragansett.
No, but I don't know who lives in these communities. Like right here, right there, where the little circle is. I mean, there could be some serious, pushback there.
Yeah, well, if you scroll down, is there another? I think Camp Fuller is a town road.
Yes.
I believe.
Okay, how about Jerry Brown Farm Road?
I believe Jerry Brown is up until a point, and then it's gated.
Mm.
Right.
But you could, but if you can get over to Succotash,
Well, once you get, if you can get down, Camp Fuller, this other, what is it?
Sorry.
Something Cove Road. I don't know what that is though. Just north.
Turner Cove Road.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
Let's just assume that's.
private.
Well, I was gonna say public, but it could be.
Oh, okay.
It could be. It's very likely.
Okay, so you're saying, get
Then you
Turner
just-
Cove, if you could cut through there, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Find some way to cut through.
Yeah.
And then,
A lot of that's all private.
Right.
Camp Fuller Road.
but maybe
Yes.
maybe they'd grant some.
Is Camp Fuller Road private?
So up to a certain point,
know.
it's not. So I think it's up to see where.
There's something unique about
We need
the
a
lots
big
in there.
pointer.
Yeah.
We need a
So
pointer.
right here
Yeah.
is I think this is where it sort of switches from town road
Oh.
Right. But I think we have Councilman Wegmont come back in and say, can you refresh
think-
us on your idea? And discussion of where our involvement would be, because there are multiple parties that would have to be involved on this. And what's your master plan for, that you're
And I don't
proposing
think
to the
he,
town?
I don't know that he has, he just had the concept of it. Let's
Yeah.
get going on it. And I
Concepts and
understand
plans.
that. Well, but that's how, turning how the William C. O'Neill bike path started. I mean, somebody had to
No,
have.
there was a railroad line there.
No,
That was
I
different.
know, but to turn it to something, it took a while, and that was an easier one, right? Because
It's
there
much
was
easier
already
to lift.
something there, but it had to start somewhere, and I think that's what he's saying. Let's start the process of making.
Well, I'll ask him which railroad line he wants us to look at.
Yeah.
No, well, and-
that's a
No,
singular owner.
that would be great, but I think he pointed out some pathways that he
Yeah.
knew of
Right.
through these areas.
Right.
He had a name for it. All I can think of is like squirrel trails or something. There was some kind of trails
I can't recall.
that,
but
just kind of, maybe it's because you're going through somebody's property and
And I think he did it.
he knows that
He
area.
knows that area. He knows it as a kid, growing up and going through the area, and has the ability to say hello to everyone as they're going by, and they're like,
Yeah.
here's
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's a
with
great.
that, it's a great. I think it's a wonderful plan. I think it's fantastic. But how
Yeah.
do we need to meet with him to see how we work with him?
Okay.
And
We're-
what is it?
And my request is we have him come back, because we're pushing 8 o'clock now.
Yeah.
We've got to.
Yeah. I mean, this is fun though. To me, this is fun.
Yeah,
to
this is
try
the
to-
fun part.
This is
This is to me the fun part also. Where are we going to put the paths? Who owns that land and can we
Yeah.
walk across it?
Yeah. But, and the other thing that I don't think we're going to do anything right now, but the other thing that's exciting to me is to link Curtis Corner Middle and the paths there
Mhm.
to 108.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's a
highlight
little
them.
connection.
Because the access is already there.
It's the access is there. You just need, I think you
The
need some
visibility.
signage, and
I know where it is.
I know where it is.
Those who
I found
know,
it.
know.
If there's if there's a park
That's right.
and an ice cream shop,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find
And a
my
pizza,
way
yeah.
there.
Pizza
I
place.
dropped the car off at Louis behind the Howard Johnson's, the John Deere place.
Yeah.
And then I walk home from there, and I say, I'll be back when you tell me it's done.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
so there is the access with that wooden
But
bridge.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I rode my bike around
But yours
for
is
quite a
different
while,
Mhm.
and then I said, oh, I see that. Is that okay to ride through there? And then I looked it up, and sure enough, it was. So, alrighty. So maybe you and I, Neil, can work on the letter.
Letter and share it with the others before
Yeah.
sending.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Realize we're not getting to everything on the agenda.
oh,
Can-
wait a minute.
can-
What time is it? It's
7:56.
7:56, and I think that we hit we talked about bike to school day, and then we talked a little about the May meeting, and do we want to change the date to the Thursday before, the Thursday after?
I can't do the one preceding.
You can't do the preceding,
I
so,
can't do the post. It doesn't matter to me.
okay, we'll just keep it the
So
same.
if the three of us
and
come-
the three of you.
And if we
guys.
don't have a quorum, there's no meeting.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll say in May is when we're gonna walk the bike path or something, do the bike path thing.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll pick a day that we can all do it.
Okay.
Alrighty,
Move to adjourn.
motion,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I'll hit the stop button.
okay.
Thank you.